Have you ever wondered about the stories that exist in the shadows of more famous tales? Today we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and fascinating figures in folklore, Lilith. Who was she? Where did her story come from? Forget everything you think you know, because we're about to uncover the ancient roots of the legend known as the First Lady. Our journey begins not in the familiar pages of Genesis, but in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, thousands of years ago. In Sumerian and Babylonian myths, we find spirits called the Lilu, Lilitu, and Ardat Lili. These weren't singular figures, but classes of spirits, often depicted as winged beings associated with the wind, desolation, and the night. They were seen as disruptors, spirits who might snatch away children or disturb the sleep of men. Clay tablets and amulets from that era often carried inscriptions to ward off these entities. One of the earliest known mentions is in the Sumerian king list, around 2400 BCE. So, before Lilith was a person, she was an idea, a powerful, untamable force of nature and the night. The most famous depiction from this period is the Burney relief, also known as the Queen of the Night. This stunning terracotta plaque shows a beautiful, winged, nude goddess with bird-like talons, standing on two lions and flanked by owls. While scholars debate her exact identity, many believe she represents an early form of Lilith, or perhaps Inanna or Ishtar in their underworld aspect. This image captures the essence of these ancient spirits, a blend of alluring beauty and dangerous power. This wasn't a story of good versus evil, but a recognition of the wild, uncontrollable aspects of the world. So how did this Mesopotamian night spirit transform into the figure we often hear about today? The transition happened as these ancient cultures interacted with one another. When the Jewish people were in Babylonian exile, they were exposed to these myths and stories. Like all cultures, they absorbed and reinterpreted the folklore around them. It's here that the concept of Lilith begins to merge with Jewish tradition, finding a new and much more specific identity. In the Hebrew Bible, we find a single solitary mention of the name Lilith. It's in the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 14. In a passage describing the utter desolation of the land of Edom, it says, "Wildcats shall meet with hyenas, goat demons shall call to each other. There too Lilith shall repose and find a place to rest." Here, Lilith is listed among other wild and desolate creatures, a night specter haunting the ruins. She is not a person, but a symbol of chaos and wilderness, a being that thrives where civilization has fallen. This single verse became the seed from which a much larger legend would grow. The real evolution of Lilith's story happens much later, during the medieval period. This is where we find the text that truly cemented her fame, the Alphabet of Ben Sira. This work, written sometime between the 8th and 10th centuries, is a satirical and anonymous collection of proverbs and stories. It is here for the first time that we are told the story of Lilith as Adam's first wife. According to Ben Sira, Lilith was created from the same earth as Adam, making them equals. This equality became the source of their conflict. Lilith refused to be subservient to Adam, particularly in their marital relations. She famously declared, "We are equal to each other, inasmuch as we were both created from the earth." When Adam tried to force her to lie beneath him, she became enraged. In an act of ultimate defiance, she uttered the sacred, ineffable name of God, which granted her the power to fly away from the Garden of Eden. God then sent 3 angels, Senoi, Sansanoi, and Semangeloth, to bring her back. They found her at the Red Sea, a place associated with spirits and demons. They demanded she return, but Lilith refused, vowing to afflict human infants, especially newborn boys. However, she made a pact with the angels. She swore that whenever she saw an amulet bearing their 3 names, she would have no power over that child. This is the origin story for the practice of placing protective amulets in a baby's room. It is crucial to understand that the alphabet of Ben Sira was likely not meant to be taken as literal scripture. Many scholars view it as a piece of satire, a commentary on rabbinic literature and societal norms. It uses a well-known biblical framework to explore themes of gender equality, defiance, and the tension between divine will and human freedom. Regardless of its original intent, this story took root in the popular imagination and spread throughout Jewish mystical traditions, particularly in Kabbalah. In Kabbalistic texts like the Zohar, Lilith's character is expanded even further. She becomes a more complex and formidable figure. She is often portrayed as the queen of the demons, the consort of Samael, the archangel of death. Together, they represent the other side, or Sitra Akra, the realm of impurity and spiritual forces that stand in opposition to holiness. In these mystical writings, Lilith is a powerful seductress, a mother of demons and a force of cosmic chaos. She represents the unbridled, primal passion that can lead humanity astray from the divine path. Yet, even here, she is a figure of immense power, a necessary counterpart to the forces of order. From a Mesopotamian night demon to a biblical specter, from a rebellious first woman to a mystical queen of the underworld, Lilith's journey through folklore is extraordinary. Her story has been retold and reinterpreted by countless generations, each one adding new layers of meaning. In modern times, she has been reclaimed by many feminist thinkers as a symbol of female strength, independence, and the courage to defy patriarchal authority. She is seen as the original freethinker, a woman who chose exile over subjugation. Lilith's tale is a powerful reminder that history is not just one story, but a collection of many voices, some of which have been silenced or pushed to the margins. She represents the parts of ourselves and our world that are wild, untamed, and refuse to be neatly categorized. Whether you see her as a demon, a goddess, a cautionary tale, or a hero, Lilith's enduring legacy is a testament to the power of a story that dares to ask, what if?
Have you ever wondered about the stories whispered in the shadows, the figures that exist just beyond the veil of our understanding? Tonight, we journey into one such legend, a tale as old as time itself, reimagined. This is the story of a man who encounters Lilith. Our story begins with Elias, a scholar of ancient texts, a man whose life was bound by ink and parchment. He wasn't seeking adventure, he was seeking knowledge, poring over brittle scrolls in the hushed silence of a forgotten library. He had spent years chasing whispers of a name excised from sacred books, a name that promised a truth different from the one he'd been taught. That name was Lilith. One evening, as a storm raged outside, a gust of wind forced open a window, scattering his papers. Amidst the chaos, one scroll, previously overlooked, unfurled. It didn't contain text, but a map to a place that shouldn't exist, a garden lost to memory. Driven by a compulsion he couldn't explain, a thirst for the ultimate truth, Elias packed a small bag. He was going to find her. His journey was arduous. He crossed sun-scorched deserts where mirages danced like spectres and navigated dense, thorny forests that seemed to actively resist his passage. The map was his only guide, leading him through landscapes that felt increasingly unreal. As if he were walking through the pages of a dream, he felt watched, not by predators of the wild, but by something ancient and unseen. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he arrived. It wasn't a ruin, but a vibrant, thriving oasis, hidden from the world, a garden lush and untamed, pulsed with a life force he'd never experienced. Flowers bloomed in colors he couldn't name, and the air hummed with a silent, powerful energy. And there, by a crystalline spring, a figure stood. Her presence was overwhelming, not with menace, but with an aura of pure, undiluted existence. She wasn't the demon of the fables he'd read. She was sovereign. Her eyes held the wisdom of eons, the sorrow of ages, and a spark of fierce, unyielding independence. This was Lilith. "You seek knowledge, son of Adam." Her voice was not a sound, but a feeling resonating directly in his mind. "You read the tales written by those who feared me. Now you stand before the truth." Elias, humbled and awestruck, could only nod. "They say you are the mother of monsters, a seductress of the night." A faint, melancholic smile touched her lips. "They wrote what they needed to believe. Is a river monstrous for wanting to choose its own course? Is the wind a demon for refusing to be caged? I chose freedom over servitude, equality over submission. For that, I was cast out and my story was rewritten by my captors." She gestured to the garden around them. "This is my kingdom, a sanctuary for all who are deemed other, for all who refuse to bend to a will that is not their own. The creatures you call monsters, they are merely misunderstood, exiled for their uniqueness, just as I was." Over the next few days, Lilith became his teacher. She showed him the interconnectedness of all things, the balance between creation and destruction, light and shadow. She didn't offer him power or forbidden secrets in the way the old texts promised. Instead, she offered him perspective. She spoke of the loneliness of being the first, the pain of being fundamentally misunderstood. She explained that true strength wasn't about dominance, but about self-possession. It was about knowing your own worth, independent of anyone else's validation. Elias saw not a fiend, but a figure of immense strength and tragedy, a symbol of rebellion against unjust authority. He learned that the scariest monsters aren't the ones with claws and fangs, but the ones who write the history books, the ones who decide who is a hero and who is a villain. Lilith was a villain only because she refused to play the part assigned to her. She chose to write her own story, even if it meant she had to do it in exile. As the time came for Elias to leave, a profound sadness filled him. He had found the truth he was looking for, but it was a truth the world was not ready to hear. "Will you tell them?" Lilith asked, her gaze piercing his soul. "Will you tell them what you have seen? Or will you return to your books and let my story remain a cautionary tale told by frightened men?" Elias looked back the way he came, towards the world that had shaped his understanding, a world of rigid rules and accepted falsehoods. Then he looked at Lilith, the embodiment of a truth so powerful it had been buried for millennia. "I will tell the story," Elias promised, his voice firm with newfound purpose. "Not the one they wrote. I will tell your ** story." And so Elias the scholar became Elias the storyteller. He didn't return to the dusty libraries. He walked among the people, in marketplaces and taverns, and he told the tale of a garden of outcasts, of a sovereign queen, and of the courage it takes to demand equality and walk your own path. His story wasn't always believed. Many called him a heretic, a madman. But for a few, for the ones who felt like outsiders themselves, his words were a revelation. He planted a seed of a different kind of truth about inner strength, about questioning authority, and about the power of writing your own narrative. The legend of Lilith began to change, not from a tale of a demon, but into a story of the first rebel, the first free spirit. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful magic of all, the ability to change the story. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into myth and meaning. If you enjoyed this exploration of ancient legends, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that challenge the way we see the world. We'd love to have you in our community. Until next time, keep questioning and keep seeking your own truth.